What's up, guys? It's Coronagedon 2020. People are in a state of panic. It's March 14th, 15th. I don't know. Honestly, I'm gonna make this vlog short just because, I don't know, it feels kind of iffy to be vlogging right now in this state of, national emergency. Trump basically did declare a state of national emergency. The city of Boston may get shut down. I'm not sure yet what the whole deal is or what the whole status of everything is going to be, but yeah, people are, I don't want to say panicking, but some people are panic buying. They're buying toilet paper out the wazoo. You can't find it anywhere in the stores. They're buying like hand sanitizer, everything, just like that's all gone out in the stores. Like things that don't typically happen are happening. The Fed just cut the interest rate down to nearly zero. The stock market is way down. Just like the streets are empty, and it's just a crazy time. The gym, the Y, is gonna be closing. I just came back from a lift. It's gonna be my last lift of the month, I guess, of March. It's March 16th now that I remember now. So yeah, so basically it's pretty whack out here, People don't know what to do. I mean, personally, the way that I look at it is, we're millennials, at least if you're watching this, I assume that you are, or younger, and that means we have a strong immune system, so we're going to be completely fine, but our parents and grandparents may not be so lucky. I mean, most likely they'll be fine as well, but, they have a higher risk of things happening. If they're older, especially severely older, if they get it, then and maybe they may have a tougher time with it. So, it's a numbers game. It's a roll of the dice really right now. And luckily the odds are in our favor. But yeah, it's just a natural calamity. It's like a pandemic, and it's kind of like a hurricane. If a hurricane comes, it's a natural calamity. You just don't know. It's just no one's fault. It just happens. Some guy ate a bat in Wuhan, China, and he caught a strain of the flu that was so foreign to the human immune system that it kind of knocked the human immune system off of its feet. But at least when this is over, we'll have that strain of flu and immunized. So cool about that, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting to see how people react. Some people are just getting in fights. Some people are stealing, rioting. Some people are becoming less rational, and they're just becoming savages, honestly. What I'm trying to do is, I'm not perfect either. I'm finding myself, I'm going a little stir crazy. And I'm trying to be there for my friends, trying to be there for my family. I personally know that I have OCD, so I'm used to kind of being fearful of germs. I'm used to kind of being afraid and anxious. So I have kind of almost a experience with this, and I can maintain a strong mindset about it. And some people would think the opposite. You have OCD, so this must make you feel even worse. But no, I mean, I'm used to feeling this way. So adding on this threat of the coronavirus doesn't really affect me too much. If you think of a spring, and a spring is most people they're relaxed, that they're not very wound too tight, and then something some pressure is added, and then they're the spring shrunk a little bit, but then typically they can spring back. Having anxiety and OCD, it's you're already shrunk. There's already pressure on you. So by applying more pressure, you don't shrink too much more. So that's kind of how I look at it. That might be a cynical view, but I look at it in an optimistic way that I'm fine. I have a strong immune system. I'll be okay. It is a bummer though that some of my plans have been canceled, but it is what it is. I'm not panicked. I'm trying to be level-headed, especially for my friends and family out there who who are panicking. So when they don't need to be, I kind of look at it as a responsibility about myself, knowing what I know and what I can do to be there for them. Yeah, I'm trying to stay righteous, trying to stay moral, even though, you know, everything is going to shambles and shit, I'm gonna look back on this video and just be like, oh my god, like, you know, look how panicked you are, look how panicked everybody was. But you know, it is kind of a weird place to be in. It's uncertain times, unpredictable times, but you know, it is what it is. I'm still vlogging, you know, still staying to routine. I'm transitioning to CVS. I had my last day of Walgreens already on Saturday, 2 days ago. It was very sad. I was very attached to my teammates. I was very bonded with them. They're very sad to see me go, but it had to be done. I'm transitioning to CVS as a pharmacy tech. I'm waiting for my license to get approved. Once it is, I can start any day, tomorrow, the day after, who knows, but like, yeah, that's just, you know, I'm lateraling. That's just the way it goes. Handed over the keys as, you know, shift lead to my right hand, and you know, he was sad to see me go, but you know, I was kind of proud of him and, you know, where he's gonna be. So it was a good time. Walgreens, I'll always remember everything that I learned there. I'll make sure to carry on the will of Mr. Walgreens and the way that he, you know, handled things. His values have been passed down, and I inherited those values. So thank you, Mr. Walgreens, for what you've taught me, and thank you to my Walgreens family for everything that I've learned. But anyways, you know, there's a lot that's going down. Oh geez, it's only been 6 minutes 30 seconds. I was trying to keep this, you know, vlog short, but I guess I can talk more. There's just so much stuff. I'm just trying to rattle off everything that's been going on in my mind. Just pretty frantic, pretty frenetic. Just the energy is just pretty tight. Even though, like, you know, life is still for the most part the same. If we go to the stores though, it like seems empty. You know, hours are changing. Hours are shorter. Just to make sure that we can, you know, take care of supply. Yeah, but people are in a state of panic even though they don't need to be. You know, my take on the situation, you know, I'm not a politician or a scientist, but from what I've seen in the data, it looks like, you know, if we, in the US at least, if everybody got it one by one, then we would have the resources to, you know, allow that person to develop an immunity to the disease and, you know, they'd survive, and then we'd have like nearly 100% survival rate, at least for everybody younger than, I don't know, 45. But the only problem is if everybody got it all at once, or at least or enough people got it to the point that we've overwhelmed the healthcare system, that's when it gets into a tricky scenario, because then we don't have the resources to allow someone to be immunized, and we have to make difficult choices about who are we gonna, you know, support and who are we gonna let go. And that's why we're just being extra cautious to, you know, practice social distancing, you know, practice washing hands, clean hygiene, so that way, you know, the spread is contained. And if you think it's like a fire, right? You know, fire can spread very fast if it's not contained. So you know, if it's like contained, then it's pretty easy to put out. But if it's you know, spread very far, then it becomes harder and harder to, you know, deal with. So, and you know, the more stuff gets burned down. So right now we're doing our best to contain it, practicing social distancing and, you know, practicing good hygiene. And if we do that, then it'll be just fine. But if we don't, then we're all screwed. No, okay, like, even if we don't, then it's just like most people will be completely fine. They might just get sick and they'll have the flu for a little bit, but you know, they'll get over it, you know, on an individual basis. But some people might actually suffer, so that's why we have to be especially cautious, because people can actually die from this disease, this flu. So it is something to be taken seriously. It is something that, you know, the whole nation is dealing with at a crisis level. So I don't want to downplay it or say that it's, you know, just a fluke or it's just, you know, nothing. But I think people are taking it to a level of panic that they don't need to be. They're becoming kind of hysterical, you know, mob mentality, mainly because this is something that is unprecedented. And they're just when they're looking to the people, to their superiors or, you know, politicians, you know, they look up to them, and when the politicians don't know what to do, then they freak out because they're like, okay, then, you know, it's Armageddon or whatever. But the truth is, like, you know, they're just juggling a lot at once, and, you know, this is just something that they haven't, seen before, but it is something history has seen before. It's just not very. It's just something that our society hasn't dealt with in living memory, but it is something that civilizations go through. So we're just dealing with issues on a grander scale, in terms of times past, rather than dealing in decades. We're dealing in centuries this time. Every century has some type of pandemic or some type of issue, and that's just life. That's just the odds statistic, Murphy's law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So that's just the way it is. God has a plan. This is, God created the world, and like God can also destroy the world. So live by the sword, you die by the sword. It just is that way. So there's nothing to kind of dwell over. It's just something that we kind of have to take care of and deal with in the proper way. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that. Lots of stuff are still going on. I saw The Aviator about Howard Hughes and his OCD, so that was actually very revelatory to myself. We'll talk about that in next week's vlog, but I'm gonna leave it at that. If you learned something or were entertained, drop me a like or hit the notification bell. Leave me a comment if you agree with what I had to say. If you're staying safe out here in this world, during the coronavirus, stay safe, practice social distancing, and wash your hands. Stock up on some supplies if you can. Stay safe, but you'll be okay. Don't worry too much over it. But drop me a comment. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me what you think about this virus. Are you afraid? Are you not worried? Let me know. I love to hear what you guys have to say. And then as always, I love you guys, and I will see you next Thursday. Peace.